Yo, what's going on? It's someone that's known here today, and today we're looking for the reasons why DXM or Dextromethorphan sucks ass. I've had this substance quite a bit, and there's some taxes that you may be paying for this experience. Most of my trips normally are accompanied by some undesirable effect at some point during the experience, and these reasons have led me to consuming the substance less often than I would like to. So let's dive into those reasons. Reason number 1, the route of administration. This is my main vice against DXM. Most of the time, you're getting it in these gel caps or in a liquid cough syrup. I've started with the gel caps, and over time, I just got sick of having to down so many pills. For a light second plateau, I would have to down at least 20 pills, and I just grew psychologically averse to doing that. Even at the start, it isn't very appealing, and not everyone can handle it. Then the syrup, at least with the hydrobromide, it's just fucking gross, and I never really would take this route because of this. With the polyterics, on the other hand, it isn't nearly as bad. The syrup is thick as fuck, but at least it goes down alright. But with the stigma there is, and in my own personal opinion, all I'm saying here is that if the way I gotta take it is through over-the-counter medicine and overdosing the medicinal dose, it kinda makes you look like a drug fiend, a junkie, or a crackhead in other words. And I really don't like my shit tasting like medicine, and having to take an excess amount to get you high just kinda makes this suck. But if you can get pure DXM though, from a source or extracting it, that changes this entirely. But since most people are just going to use the convenient route, this reason stands valid. Reason number 2, other ingredients. While we are on the topic of pharmaceuticals already, why not get into the extras? And I'm not saying I do this, but more naive users with less precaution. They may see DXM as a way to get high, but not know that the other active ingredients in it can cause harm to them. There's acetaminophen, which can wreck your liver, guanfacine, which I hear can give you just a terrible throw-up episode. There may be some antihistamines, among who knows what else. All I'm saying here is fuck triple C's. This definitely makes it a negative. I remember in the past before also having to jump from store to store trying to find DXM with no active ingredients. So this both causes a inconvenience, and it can be potentially harmful to some users. Reason number 3, the nausea. This is another side effect that again makes me want to not even go near DXM. This sometimes doesn't happen to me, but even on a low dose like 300 milligrams, I got to a point where I would just throw up from that. Like I said before, I had a psychological aversion towards DXM and the way you take it, and about an hour or so after ingestion, I would just get initial nausea that would just be terrible. Throwing up would often be common. I wasn't always like this, and I don't really think I am now. I've been able to handle twice that amount and upwards just fine in the past. But importantly, I've learned to avoid nausea also depends on how full your belly is. Sometimes I would eat like an hour before taking DXM just to throw it up an hour later. Ideally, I would say give yourself a 4-hour window to take it after eating, or just have a light meal. I believe it depends on the food also, but this could be the cause for why nausea and throwing up ensues. But then also, I don't think you want an empty stomach full of pills either. To get around this, I think you have to find what works for you. But boy, do I fucking hate being bent over, yakking into the toilet for a good 10-20 minutes during the come up. Fucking fantastic. Reason number 4. Addiction and danger. Yeah, this should be a no-brainer for DXM, but it can be both psychologically and physically addicting. I myself do feel like I've touched fingers with this, but nowhere near it becoming an actual problem. There was one summer I would second plateau like every 1 or 2 weeks, and how it's so easy to go get it just from a Walmart or a Walgreens or wherever makes you give into this urge to trip off of it even more so. and you can eventually develop a dependence towards the substance, have withdrawal effects result. Then there's also the possibility that you may be doing harm, especially in the long term. I hear mostly cognitive impairment in some way. Some people don't realize it, but that harsh junkie drug reality is definitely a possibility with this substance. Reason number 5, food. Okay, first thing is, I normally won't be able to eat until the tail end of my experience, mainly due to the appetite suppression DXM provides. But normally after the peak effects are gone, I have some motivation to eat, as it's probably been like 10 hours since my last meal, or just a long ass time. But what's shitty about this is you can hardly taste shit, or not even at all. DXM has the effect to numb your body, so your taste can go along with that. So you were thinking, you're about to smash on a good ass meal, but just turns into you eating some food. Reason number 6, afterglow erections. Now, I find this varies among people. Not being able to perform during the experience should be common for most, but after the experience, it's just like my shit swells up. It's fucking ridiculous. And it's not like it gets me in the mood that way, but rather it's just more of a physical effect. And it isn't like I can just go bust one real quick either. Shit will not have you busting, or it's going to be like an hour or two before you even feel like you can get close to it. I'm just saying, for me, this shit gets in the way and it can be kind of distracting. Reason number 7, feeling too tired but too awake. So I've had this happen a few times before. Sometimes I'll get in this in-between state with DXM where I honestly feel like I can just shut my eyes and knock out, but that doesn't last very long because, well, you're on DXM. This shit will keep you awake whether you like it or not. And at some points, it's almost like you don't know what to do with yourself. It can be pretty uncomfortable sometimes, but I haven't had too much experience with this. Reason number 8, distorted vision. Okay, so this is normally a problem at higher doses, and you basically just lose the ability to read anything. Like, I remember trying to hit up the homie Marcel one time about coming over to his crib, but couldn't even navigate my phone. I couldn't read anything on there, things were just distorted, and this could definitely be a negative, especially like if you are in a situation where you need to call for help or something. Spatial awareness is also pretty inaccurate too, I believe, so I don't really recommend fucking around near the street. Reason number 9, the miscellaneous stuff. Okay, this reason or point includes things outside my subjective experience or liking that may be negative to you or other people. These things can include loss of motor control, not being able to focus, perform cognitively as well, hallucinations may be bothersome, there is less temperature regulation, you can sweat more, increased heart rates, bad memory, itching, and the length of time. Oh, and it may also pop a false positive on a drug test for opiates or PCP. So yeah, as you can see here, there is a fucking ton of bad things that can come along with a DXM experience, and I do agree that it does suck for the most part due to all of this. I'm sure some things may vary from user to user, but a lot of these are the prime reasons why people avoid DXM. If I didn't mention something here that you experienced negatively, let me know below. And for future videos, suggestions for whatever really, feel free to leave it below. And if you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and if you haven't already. It's been someone that's no one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.